Right, welcome to Arthur Brown Photography. Today we're in Whitby in North Yorkshire on a photo shoot. I'm just concentrating on using my Sigma 35mm f1.4 and the Canon 70 to 200 f2.8 today. I'll just do a quick pan around. You can see the whale bones, Captain Cook's monument. We've got the harbour behind, and Whitby Abbey up on the top of the hill. Okay, let's go and take some pictures. Well, we had to walk along the harbour in Whitby and I came across a large pile of empty lobster pots piled up on the quayside. I took a few shots at different distances from the lobster pots using the Canon 70 to 200. So let's open up a few of these in Photoshop and see what we've got. Oh, this is the first one. Open up in Camera Raw. First of all, I'm going to increase the contrast a bit because it was quite a murky day. Reduce the highlights and the distance, and then bring the shadows out, get some detail in those pots. And then I'm going to do some clarity to sharpen it up nicely, and then vibrance to try and bring up some of the colours. That looks pretty good now. So I'll click Open Image, and that'll bring it up in Photoshop itself. That's looking pretty good. Nice out of focus background, and just brought the colours out now. It's cut nicely there, so yeah, quite happy with that. So shall I crop it? No, I think it looks better full frame rather than 16:9. So no, I don't think I'll bother to do that. So let's save this one. I'm just going to call it in my Whitby output some folder, and I'm going to call it Lobster Pots 1. Click Save. Right, let's go back to okay, and let's go back to the browser and pick up the next one. Right, this next one was done a bit closer. Again, I'm not sure which is the nicest one. That will do. Open this up in that. I'll bring the clarity up first to see what's in focus and what's out of focus. Yeah, most of the pots at the front are in focus, so that will do me. A nice bit of out of focus background here. Again, contrast, reduce the highlights, bring up the shadows. Drop the exposure very slightly there. So. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Click to open, and this will open us up in Photoshop now. Again, I think I'll leave that in its full frame format. I don't think it needs to be cropped at all. Yeah, happy with that. So we'll go File, Save As, Whitby Output, Lobster Pots, and I'll change the 1 to a 2. Click Save. Click OK, and let's save that one. Right, back to the browser. Go for even a closer shot now. Which are the nicest of these? Probably that one. Oh, probably the close-up one. So open in Camera Raw again. It's fairly well exposed. I'm going to whip up the clarity a bit and the contrast. Reduce the highlights to get the background a bit darker and bring some detail in the shadows. And again, there's some nice colours in this, so bring up the vibrance a bit just to make it sing there. So Right, we'll open that up in Photoshop, and again I don't think this needs any cropping at all. It looks pretty good as it is. So. Right, yeah, that's okay I think. Without any further adjustments. So go File, Save As, and then I'll make that. Yeah. Now there's a good bit of detail in this, so I think this shot may well actually look good in black and white. So I'm going to make a duplicate layer, and then I'm going to go to Filters. I'm going to look for my Nik collection once down the bottom, and then go to Silver FX, and this will start the process of turning this into a black and white print. Well, it brings up a selection of presets here, so I'm going to whiz down. I'm going to use this quite a lot, and probably my favourite preset for this type of thing is actually one that's called, further down, trying a few of these as I go, but I'll probably look for one called Wet Rocks, because that actually seems to work well with these kind of detail shots. I'm going to increase the contrast a little bit from the preset, and yeah, that's about right. I'm going to whip the structure right up to get the detail. Right, we're up to 100% on that, I think. Just fiddle with the shadows and highlights just to see if there's any improvement there. I'm going to try some filters: red, orange, yellow, green, blue. I don't like that. Red is probably the best one out of those actually. Yeah, back to red. And then I'm going to look at film types. I quite like to put film types in here. Alright, film types: Kodak, Ilford, Agfa. Can I get to the Kodak? That's pretty good. Can I click on OK? That'll apply the filter, and then open the frame up in Photoshop again. Right, when I've applied filters to a photograph, it inevitably seems to increase the amount of digital noise somewhere in the picture. So to try and combat that and clean this for a little bit, I'm going to open up another layer. And I'm going to open another filter, and this time it's going to be the Nik collection Define, which is a denoising program. It's pretty subtle, doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but it has an automatic mode, so I'll just let it analyse and run through that. But I tend to be fairly crude with this filter, and I'll just go on to manual reduction and just put everything reduction up to 200%. It just cleans it up nicely. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but it just reduces the grain a bit if we're going to go for a large print size. Alright, that seems to be okay, so I'm going to go Save As, and I'm going to call this one Lobster Pots 3 B&W. Now I have to change the file type here because it's gone to a Photoshop file type because I've put filters on, so bring it back to a JPEG. Click Save, and then click OK, and that's it. Lobster pots in black and white. Well, we did plenty of this in Whitby too, drinking fine real ales. Whitby is also a good place for night photography. There's plenty of lighting around the harbour and plenty of opportunities to photograph reflections, particularly at a time like this when the tide's high and the river is fairly still. It gives a lot of reflections. Here's a photograph I took of the harbour entrance, where you can see the lighthouse and the navigation lights reflected in the water. few seagulls about. Seagulls can be a bit of a nuisance actually. They do attack people having picnics and eating bags of chips, and there's warning signs not to feed them and not to encourage them. They do make fairly good photo subjects though. Caught this one with its beady eye. Another one here, the rather dangerous, sharp-looking beak. We went across the other side of the river and walked along the lanes past all the nice tourist shops until we came to the foot of the steps up to Whitby Abbey itself. There's 199 steps here, so you can do feel it by the time you get to the top. But the elevation does give some opportunity for taking photographs out across the rooftops towards the sea. At the top is the Church St Mary, nice churchyard. There's a shot I took in the graveyard with a nice out of focus background. We then walked through the churchyard towards the ruined Whitby Abbey. This of course has connections with the Dracula story. It does make a nice photographic subject though. And this is the abbey from the other side of the river. Here's the harbour lights reflected. And here's the guy in one of the goth shops opening up for the morning. Well, I enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, if you like this, to click like, to comment and to subscribe.